podcast about your favorite team, the Philadelphia Union. And this is a fun one. The Union are on a 4-game win streak. We've got a battle of PA coming up, and then we get to play Columbus. So this is going to be a great episode. But first, before we get to any of that, Evan, Chuck, how you guys doing?
I realized today that I am to this podcast what wrestlers' entrance themes are to wrestlers. In that I'm really good for about 15 to 20 seconds, and then no one cares.
Oh. Well, keep your comments. Just keep your comments to 15 or 20 seconds, and you'll be great.
Right, that's all I'm saying. I just have to be concise, and everyone's going to be like, that's it. That's perfect.
Chuck, how you doing?
I mean, I'm good. Just a little stressed right now.
All right. Well, it is that summer season of soccer that you writers have a lot to write about. So,
yeah. Well, also going on vacation next week just compresses everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, the Union are riding a 4-game win streak, and we've talked about a couple of them so far. But they get a win in Montreal, which is weird, and then they come back and squeak by Indy with a largely reserve squad to get through in the Open Cup. So I don't know where you guys want to start. Any thoughts over the last couple games?
Better late than never. seems to be the theme. I mean, even coming into this, we were talking about just it's the time of the season where these just become a grind. You just want to get points however you get them. They weren't pretty by any stretch of the term, but the Union did what they needed to do, and so I'm happy, especially considering that they actually did rotate in both of those games. So you should expect throwing the full squad at Columbus.
Yeah. Evan, any thoughts?
If every MLS 2 side leaves the competition to basically be replaced by every senior MLS team, and then the MLS proceeds to basically pitch a shutout against USL competition and become 50.
So it's not just me right now.
No. Yes. So the MLS went, I don't know, what was it, 14-1 against USL squads.
Yes.
And pretty much, knocked them all out of the competition, other than the one that we get to play in the next round.
I was going to say, there's your setup. Not that I wanted to absolutely gloss over us beating Montreal handedly in Montreal, and then welcome to the score sheet, Indiana Vassilev. But that game went about as good as it could have gone, which then means I'm not as worried as I would be about 120 minutes in penalties against the, I don't know, soon to be like American leader in penalty kick shootouts, Andrew Rick, who has like 3 a week.
Yeah, you know,
like he has, I think he literally has one like every week in Next Pro.
Yeah, no, that is a really good point, honestly, because
he had one like earlier. He had one over the weekend, and then had one again Wednesday, and then probably will have one again over the weekend.
Yeah, like, I just mean like the Next Pro doing that. The point is to prepare all of these players for penalty shootouts, because that's not something that you can actually train without just giving live game situations. And like when he was out there, he certainly looked prepared and then ended up saving one. And also, I mean, the Union were just clinical in their takes, like really couldn't find much to fault them on, which
we're not used to that.
Yeah, exactly. We haven't had much fun in penalty shootouts over the years, so it was great to just see, as stress-free of one as it can be.
Yeah, it was interesting because that was different than the game. Like going into halftime, you come into halftime 1-1, and that's really when I started watching. But you go into halftime 1-1, and then you come out and basically get dominated by Indy for 25 minutes coming out of halftime, and you almost have to like throw all your starters on at that point to try to like rescue this game. And I think they did a fairly good job of it. I think by the time extra time came around, Philly was on top of Indy, and could have scored a lot more. Just were not clinical in their finishing during the game. And then you get to the penalty shootout, and they were, it was 5 shots, 5 goals, pretty easy at that point. So it is interesting how different that was from the game.
Oh yeah, no, the first half was just kind of funny because you thought like, oh, the Union are gonna score 5, and then you remember
LA scored in 3 minutes.
But then it's like, oh, yeah, this is why they're the backups.
I mean, Justin would know better than I would where Indy is at in the table in USL right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole host of teams sitting kind of right in the middle of the table. There hasn't been, other than Loudoun and Louisville, there has not been a large gap between the rest. Everybody's kind of between 6 and 10 points.
Oh, sure. Okay, so your average year in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah. So there's not a big discrepancy in USL.
Like, I'm not necessarily mad about our starters being, our reserves being kind of that quality. Especially when a lot of them have had, pretty limited minutes this year. Nice to get Cavan his record-breaking start.
I wanted him to get a goal so bad. He deserved it. He really did, because like some of those shots that he was like putting on target out there are pretty ridiculous. And like it's moments like that when you can see why Manchester City signed him already. Because like once he, refines decision making and gets bigger, he already has it.
Yeah. Yeah, he has a lot of swagger out on the field, which is
absolutely.
Oh my god. So did you guys see the Union photo montage of their like fits coming into the game?
Yes. Well, see, but the problem, Chuck, that's not Guardiola. He's luckily, gonna have to turn into American Rotary.
Luckily, he won't see Guardiola probably ever. Well, I mean, he's going to see him during the summer, but like by the time he actually makes it to City, there's no way Pep's still coaching that team.
Who's to say he won't be the Matt Miazga of the 2020s?
Let's not do that.
Is that a fate worse than death to wish on someone? I don't know.
I mean, like, Miazga still has USMNT caps, so like it would like be a success. But when you've been hyped up to be the best American soccer prospect since Freddie Adu, and we're really trying to not do that, let's just not.
In some ways, I feel like in American soccer, like you gotta enjoy what we have right now, and like the way that Pulisic is like blowing up Serie A and some of these other things. It's like it's fun to watch, but it's like, why can't they do it for our country? But that should like take the pressure off of Cavan Sullivan, that he doesn't have to go and like be a world changer in the first 6 weeks he's in Europe.
They have no one at his position.
It's true.
And if he doesn't care, neither does anyone else. So he's fine. He'll blend right in.
That's true.
Oh, that was depressing.
That is depressing.
But the Union aren't. So let's
club over country.
Yeah.
We're doing great. We apparently have people that care about the badge.
Yeah. We kind of like glossed over the Montreal game. Any like takeaways from that game? 3 points is what it is. We walk away with 3 points and we forget about it.
I mean, Mikel is back.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Ball don't lie for the second goal for the Union. That was solid.
Also, again, unfortunately, going back to social media, a point of annoyance at Fabian Herbers. Because he posted something about the game of, finally I'm in the right jersey in this city.
Oh my God. Wow.
It's just like, dude, what? So you want to trash just all your former teams at once?
That's a tweet for like, I think that's like a subtweet at you and me, Chuck. Like that's wow.
The Union rookie assist record holder, because still no one drafted has had more assists in one season than Fabian Herbers.
Oh my God. What is that number even?
I think it's 6.
Sure.
But we also don't draft anyone anymore. So
Colorado bought all of our picks for like $500,000 5 years ago, and we just keep giving them to them. So that's exciting.
They gotta give us something back at some point in time. We keep giving them players. We gave them Trusty to sell to Europe. We gave them their captain.
Yeah, Rosenberry's there.
They gotta give us something back at some point in time.
Chris Armas being employed is their gift to the rest of the country. I don't know.
All right.
I got nothing. I don't know. What do you want?
I don't know.
No, I mean, just like
this. Mark and Matt still put out a great podcast. I don't know.
I mean, it was better than the average Montreal game.
Yes.
It was.
That's unfortunately not saying much because literally nothing happened in the second half outside of the winning goal. But also that's fine because we would have been a lot more annoyed after how the first half went to not leave Montreal with a win.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that for sure. So our Open Cup win sets up the Battle of Pennsylvania for...
I was going to say, wait, for both of your teams, though.
The first time in a long time. We finally get a Philadelphia-Pittsburgh soccer matchup. So that's coming up on May 21st, 2 weeks from yesterday evening. Is going to be 7:30 Subaru Park. The Riverhounds from Pittsburgh are coming to town after beating NYCFC, something that the Union could not do a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I feel very excited about it. I think this is really good for the state, and I think this is really good just for soccer. And I think, it's weird how the Open Cup has played around this for several years of like having Indy come to Philly. It's like you could have just had the Union come across the state. Like that would have been a lot easier than having NYCFC, but it's like they played around it for a couple of years and this matchup just hasn't happened. And I get it because Pittsburgh on the other hand is like closer to Columbus, and so that's the matchup that Pittsburgh seems to get all the time. But it is nice to have a different one. It's nice to play NYCFC and then a different team. As a fan of the Riverhounds, it's nice to play. But I think it's going to be great I think it's going to be a great night. I wish it was happening in Pittsburgh, but oh well.
I don't, for pitch-related reasons.
Yeah. Well, the Union would lose if it was happening in Pittsburgh.
Also that.
Do you think so?
Yes.
They have never played on a surface that's like that before, and they would get smoked.
Well,
it's brand new.
And well,
they've never played on a surface that's like that before.
Nobody's ever played on a surface like that before. It's brand new.
You know what I mean. I'm glad it's not the ridiculous carpet. I'm glad it is just a slightly less ridiculous carpet now.
Yeah, I mean,
no, but for it's actually really funny because you're picking between two stadiums that have fantastic views of different rivers. And for the one time I think maybe ever, Philly loses out to what Highmark would look like with that sort of scenario and that setting, that background, which is a shame. As a Union fan, glad that we don't have to play on that for
sure,
every reason in the world. And then, yeah, I tried to find it earlier, but of course it only came back with the Riverhounds playing, I guess, Bethlehem at the time, or the second team. I don't know the last time these two clubs have played each other, period. Yeah. It's been a while.
I was trying to find that too, and kind of struggling.
Because the Open Cup, like Justin was saying, like the Hounds usually get Columbus, and then we usually end up with like Red Bull. And then I don't think they even like touch in preseason or anything, which is like a, you know.
Yeah, no, they should. There honestly should be an annual like preseason meeting between those teams. It kind of makes too much sense. But I mean, like the fact that Pittsburgh is a 5-hour drive from the stadium.
Oh yeah, no.
It's, make things a lot tougher than they kind of should be.
As former USL folks, should we just play this game on City Island?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say there's a couple of neutral venues that would be exciting.
That would actually be like so cool if like for moments like this, it's just like, okay, you have to meet in the middle and then actually play for supremacy of your state. Like that would actually make Open Cup as a whole so much more interesting.
I mean, you could fit 20,000 people in Hershey Park Stadium.
Oh Lord, do it there! Hell yeah. Well, and then at that point, do you have Bob Lilly bust out the kind of like a Mighty Ducks 2 situation?
The Hershey
Everyone
Wildcats
rocks
kit?
the
The Hershey Wildcats.
Hershey Wildcats for one night only against the Philadelphia Union that are playing as the Harrisburg City Islanders.
Yeah.
Who needs it? Who wants it?
As long as they play as the City Islanders and not Penn FC.
Rush is still the sponsor,
though. It'll be interesting to see how the game plays out just with having the midweek game next week. So that's like a third straight midweek game. And, you know, we're going to continue to see
Tuesday
rotation.
or Wednesday?
The Riverhounds posted that the Open Cup game is Wednesday, 21st.
Okay. All right. Because when I checked it this morning, it was still to be determined venue, and then I think it said Tuesday, which was weird.
Well, when I looked this morning, it said Monday. I was like, that's not.
That would be brutal.
It's at least all official, even on the union's website as of
okay.
Well, the union like literally just posted everything on their site an hour ago.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay, cool. Yeah, because I saw Tuesday and I was like, well, that's messed up to have to play Columbus and then.
All right, so that's coming up in 2 weeks. Next Open Cup game, we'll
Eve.
Well, yeah, the 13 days. But we'll talk about that when we get closer to it. Guys, we have 2 games coming up in the next couple days, I guess. Saturday, Columbus Crew, and then Wednesday. We face the mighty LA Galaxy. That was a joke.
My head's already spinning with the number of games. Because even just like with the not even 2 weeks, I thought that the 21st was next Wednesday, forgetting that we already have a game next Wednesday.
Very good.
Yes, we do. Any thoughts on the next 2 matchups?
Columbus will be interesting. That'll be a tough one. They're always a hard out. Those are always physical games. LA, you figure they've been backsliding so much this year that at some point they have to wake up and win a game. But also at the same time, they just look like they don't know what to do on the field.
I hope Marco Royce plays, because if he plays, they're bad.
Yeah, that one isn't really working out for him.
I mean, it's really tough in MLS, and I thought we started learning our lesson after Higuain with the I can play with a cigarette in my mouth, and then had to actually work out to score goals for Miami. I thought we were learning our lesson there, and then LA just tend to all their hopes and dreams without Ricky Puig and Marco Royce, and it's not working at all. I'm not at all looking forward to seeing Columbus, though. I just have a very, unfortunately, well-placed fear that Daniel Gazdag will rip this team to shreds.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I don't believe in revenge games, but just he's already so close to breaking out for Columbus.
Yeah.
That what better time for him to do it than against a Union team that will have played 4 games in 12 days.
Yeah, my thought on that, or in addition to that, is I think I would be comfortable playing a team that Gazdag was the guy or the only guy.
Mm-hmm.
And thinking through, okay, these guys have seen Lukic, Jean-Jacques, they've seen Gazdag play, and they've played him enough that I think they could shut him down and figure out how to do it well. The problem is he's not the only guy for Columbus, and so even if we shut Gazdag down completely, that's going to leave other guys open who can score. And so I feel like it is going to be a challenge to shut everybody down. I feel like we could shut Gazdag down, but I don't know that we can shut Gazdag and the rest of the Columbus roster down.
Yeah, this feels like a weird question to ask, given that I don't think 3 months ago we would have been like, what do you mean? Is he going to get applauded when he comes back? Is it? I mean, statistically, obviously, and then for his contributions on the field to the team, he deserves all of the praise in the world.
Does
Philly do that? I think they can.
Well, because the only thing that I can really think of, where that happened was Rhys Hoskins recently coming back with Milwaukee, and that was just because
everyone that's come back to play against the Union was when the team was really bad. So there's no need to applaud someone for I don't know, logging minimum minutes and getting a check.
And with Hoskins, you knew the Brewers weren't going to do anything. I don't see, I don't see Columbus getting a good just welcome to Philly when this is a battle for first in the East.
Sure. Yeah. Well, and I mean, after
plus
your
the things
exit
that he
interview
said
was
also leaving.
Yo, I hate all of you. Probably kills any chance of this happening.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think you gotta I think what happens off the field is much more important than what happens on the field in a welcome back situation.
Correct.
You can have all the joy in the world on the field and make stuff happen on the soccer field as a soccer player. But when you leave the city and then you make these comments of oh, I'm finally contending for a championship and all that kind of stuff, that is not good. And so I think that's
while
where
I have
he's not
the platform, I want everyone to meet him with apathy, because if you give him juice, he is going to use it, and he will score 7 goals against us in 30 minutes. So when Cavan gets on the mic and Daniel Gazdag, but I'm not saying it because he's on our team anymore. Do nothing. Don't the back turn, flip him off. Don't do the sucks after the one time. I'll advocate that. Just silence.
Yeah, I will say I at least don't think the entire stadium is going to yell "sucks" when his name comes out over the PA. I just also don't see him being applauded either.
Fair.
Do you think that you mentioned the revenge games and not necessarily believing in that, but like, do you think that there could be an element from the Union side of also feeling like this is a revenge game of like, oh, you say that we aren't competing for championships. Let's just show you how we can get to first place.
They should be using it like that.
Yeah, I don't know if Carnell is that specific with his kind of here's our goal. But I mean, if I played with that guy for 3-4 years or however much it was, I'd be like, well, let me leave a foot in here real quick.
This might be a good difference between if Jim Curtin was coaching the team.
Jim Curtin is tackling Daniel Gazdag by the touchline.
Absolutely, just like they can all go fuck off. Carnell's a little bit more, tact with the way he handles things.
Yeah.
He also hasn't been around that long to have the relationship with Gazdag to want that, or have
also
that
might
feeling.
be part of why Gazdag's not with the team anymore.
Yes. Yes.
You don't like my system? Play somewhere else. Jack McGlynn scores a banger last night. Good Lord. What a finish.
But, still just like watching him defend against MLS teams. Like, it is correct that while Jack McGlynn is a great soccer player, there was no way in hell that he was going to work in this system.
No. Houston nearly losing to Phoenix Rising is not great.
It is a little bit fun watching all the guys, all the former Union players play in the Open Cup. A lot of them for USL squads.
Oh, yeah, I've actually been enjoying the Anthony Fontana renaissance.
Oh my God! Wait. Where did he go? Where is he now?
He's Colorado, right?
Is he with the Switchbacks?
No, stop it.
No, it's either there or El Paso.
Oh, it's got to be El Paso.
Yeah.
No, if he signed for James, I would have lost my mind.
I know those are two very different teams.
They are.
He's Colorado.
What the fuck?
I mean,
what?
It makes sense.
Jesus.
You look through their lineup and it is the Bethlehem Steel.
Yeah, why haven't I bought one of their kits yet? That's like my friend's FC.
Which is also just still nuts that like Anthony Fontana is 25 years old and played with James Chambers on that team. And now is being coached by him. And he is still only 25 years old.
Matt Real being under 30, I think, still really gets me.
Yeah, no, I mean, they were playing literal babies on that team.
They at some point in the broadcast they mentioned Quinn Sullivan's age last night, and I was just like,
his is scary because he like just turned 21.
Yeah.
It's like you've been around here forever.
Yeah,
I know. It's wild. It was against the Riverhounds last night. Thomas Romero started in goal for NYCFC. I was like, oh, interesting.
Sounds familiar.
Interesting.
I think he's used to a knockout tournament or two in that park.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think over the next week, I would like to see the Union get 4 points.
Sure.
But I think 3 will suffice.
Yeah. If you win early against Columbus, then the goalpost moves a little bit, I think. If you don't win there, you just kind of have to go, well, LA's not really on form. Do they play over the weekend too?
So, I believe so.
I'm checking. They play the Red Bulls on Saturday. That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still going to take a cop-out because, like...
Sure.
I don't... Like, I still just genuinely don't care about beating Columbus. Like, it would be great. It would be great to beat Columbus, but I'm not just gonna like hang anything on it. Just like, again, don't get embarrassed by Columbus. Like, it should be a close game, and if it's not, then that's a problem. And I'm fine with a draw against the Galaxy as long as you follow that up by beating the Riverhounds. Because like you do still just like always have that sinking suspicion that like, yeah, Gabriel Peck's been awful this year, but like this is going to be when he finally scores a goal. And the longer that goes, unfortunately, the way odds work, like it does have to eventually happen. And like, it's unlikely for it to be a cross-country trip to play the Union on short rest, but like could. And that would be like the weird enough thing to end up with a draw in that game, although their defense is so bad that the Union should score another 3 goals there.
Yeah. Chuck, between the Galaxy and the Riverhounds, we still have to play Atlanta.
Oh yeah,
there's still that game in there too.
I
see, that's Brett Guzon, so I mean that'll be fine.
Then we after the Riverhounds.
Isn't that Orlando again? Or
no,
Miami?
It's Miami. It's Miami.
Yeah,
and then the Wednesday after that we play Toronto. And
whatever.
Which is more annoying because that means you like need the 3 points against the Galaxy.
Yes.
Yep.
Because you also should beat Atlanta, but you're more worried about that game being a game that you don't end up winning.
Yes. So I had the opposite kind of thing.
Why is this happening?
I had the opposite thing, Evan, of I think if you can get a draw against Columbus and then beat LA, I'm satisfied with that. Even if you lose to Columbus, as long as you beat LA, I think you're fine. And I know the Western Conference games don't matter as much. It's still 3 points on the board. And so
absolutely.
You would rather you would rather your 3 points come against Columbus. It's just much less likely.
Actually, wait, I didn't even see where if the scheduling gods were sort of kind to LA, they would be home. But if they're not, then that's more miles for the beautiful. It's at Red Bull Arena. Great. So yeah, they have to figure out what the hell to do with that schedule.
Yeah.
You can imagine Saturday back out Saturday? Maybe, yeah. So that makes that a little bit easier to try to plan for, I suppose. But yeah, I want the conference games to be more decisive. Yeah, obviously.
For sure.
But at home, if you're facing a Western Conference team, especially from the other coast, you got to make those count too. So yeah, anything but a loss there against LA is good. But I still think, especially because you've never really played that well against Columbus, especially this sort of era of their team. Like Chuck said, just don't get embarrassed, and that's okay. The Open Cup's tricky because if you beat Pittsburgh, then that schedule's not looking any easier. But we'll talk about it next week. What does success for the Union look like when they play the Riverhounds?
Yeah, I think the other thing about that LA game is they are coming. They have the Saturday game in New Jersey. They have the Wednesday game in Philly, and then they go back to LA and have the LA Derby on Sunday night. So they might be overlooking that. The Philly game as well, to think, well, the more important game is beating LA.
A better question is Greg Vanney coaching that game?
Well, if they're on a 5-day road trip to the East Coast, then probably he makes it through the whole trip. He may not be coaching the Sunday night game against LA, but I think he makes it through the whole trip.
It would be the funniest thing to fire your coach midway through a road trip, send him home alone, and have an interim finish it out.
That'd be awful as a coach.
hey, we're all going to get on this plane. Here's a special plane for you. Where's it going? I'm not telling you. Yeah, we'll see you there, or maybe we won't. I don't know.
All right. Well, that's what we think. Anything else, guys, before we get out of here?
No, I can't imagine.
No, I'm already dizzy enough trying to just comprehend the actual schedule coming up because this is nuts.
Yes.
But yeah.
Chuck, I'm excited for. I guess I'm excited for the FA Cup. I mean, Europa League final. That'll be good.
That'll be good.
I mean, I'm not. Luckily, I'm at least gonna be somewhere in Los Angeles watching that, as opposed to stressing about it for work. But I'm still gonna be very stressed, and it won't be fun.
A justifiable crash out it is.
It's how I feel about this upcoming Open Cup game.
Yeah, no, it's just a lose-lose for you.
Actually, I could just be happy whichever team wins. Actually, that's the way that works. I think that's all that we have. Let us know what you think, and you can catch us later, probably next week sometime, at VFTB Pod, wherever you can find us on the internet. Make sure you download, subscribe, like, review, all that kind of stuff. It helps us grow the audience. So keep doing all that, and we'll talk to you again very, very soon.